What's the biggest red flag during an employment interview? Story 1. An employee offered to walk me out of the building after my interview and took the opportunity to basically warn me in not so many words about what the job really entailed, especially when he heard I was fresh out of college and would have had to move country for the job. Basically, the job ad was complete BS, and he was making sure I knew. I will be forever grateful to people like him. Story 4.3. People in the lobby. Some of you will be lucky enough to be chosen. Story 5. My recent interview with what I thought would be a dream job went like this. You know, you're the sixth person we've tried to make this position work for and we're starting to think it's us. Story 7. Not being clear about why the position opened. Story 8. Interviewer gives a non-answer when you ask about salary. Story 9. Really, this occurred to me. Interviewer. Have you got any inquiries for us? Me. What current problem has this department faced? Asker. Job security. Story 10. We're a family here. Story 13. It's a salaried position with flex time. Basically, you will be working 50+ hours a week and only be paid for 40. Don't you dare flex any time though. Story 14. You'd be replacing the guy who was killed in the explosion. True story. Story 15. We need you to start as soon as possible. They're way behind schedule and will be immediately asking you to work long nights, extra hours on systems you're not familiar with, and then they'll yell at you when shit doesn't get done in time. On top of that, they're probably assholes in general. That's why they're behind schedule in the first place. They don't plan well, manage people well, or know how to handle their clients. Basically, we need you here as soon as we can get you. Means you're fucked. Or more accurately, they're fucked, and it's about to become your problem. If everyone in a company looks tired, it's because they are stressed out and or working extra hours all the time. Big red flag. Story 18. No set salary. You could make up to. Avoid commission-based gigs. Story 19. Competitive salary. That actually means we will pay you shit. Story 20. Not having a solid job description. This is the biggest one. We are just creating the position. Story 21. When they are an hour late and ask questions if I am sexually active. Story 22. Being a nanny, you get some bizarre ones. It's not HR or a business owner. It's Lisa, the 27-year-old first-time mother, who hasn't done anything in her life. Probably the biggest red flag was when she asked if I'd be interested in inducing lactation to nurse her baby. Story 23. Are you entrepreneurial? Usually means that the job is solely commission-based. Story 24. Beer fridges, ping pong tables, bring your dog to work days are usually a cover for a really shitty work environment, most likely recommended or brought in by HR to say they're doing something to improve morale. Story 25. They explain that you will for some reason not be an employee of the company but an independent contractor that uses their facilities and is paid by them. Story 26. Being hired on the spot. Story 27. 4 rounds of interviews and reason complex or time-consuming interview questions. If they make you do this much work for free just for the interview, they're showing you that they have no respect for work-life balance. Story 28. When the entire Glassdoor page is all glowing reviews, and when the same positions get periodically reposted. Story 29. I find a good question to ask is about traffic, especially of people who aren't the interviewers. If it is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., then you're doing good. If they say, at 6 a.m., the traffic is light, and I go home at 7 p.m. and it's light then too, you know the job is bad. Story 31. Dynamic, fast-paced environment. It's a mess, management is top-heavy and supervisors are spread thin. You're on your own, learn fast. Story 32. Things have been added to the list of job duties, job description between your first and second interview. Also, beware when they want you cross-trained on everyone's job. That's so they can go on vacation and then you'll do 2 jobs for the price of one. Emphasize being a team player, and mention that some of their more dedicated employees have even come into work sick. Emphasized needing employees who put the job first and not those who do their 40 hours and go home. Mentioned the current supervisor was on leave, but did not know why. Asked me if I could start the very next day. Unfortunately, I was so desperate so I took this job, and I currently work here. Since I was hired, 2 people have walked out. I needed my work uniform hemmed, and I was told during the interview that this would be reimbursed. That was a lie. Today is her last day. One of my reliefs was over an hour late and showed up smelling strongly of weed. One of my coworkers disappeared while on the clock and drove 45 minutes away to buy weed. Both indicate a serious trust issue between the IT leadership and the rest of the company, either earned or just because the HR management is that uncomfortable with the tech and the people who keep it working. The other biggie, of course, is if you ask what they enjoy about working there and they have no answer prepared. Story 37. When they diss previous places you worked in the interview. Story 38. Why did you choose our company equals lick my butt. Story 40. Why should we hire you? WTF, what you mean? Why you should hire me, bitch? Why should I work for you? Story 41. I work as a recruiter. These are red flags when I'm onboarding new clients, usually leading to me not taking their job. 1. We are open to someone with less experience, or the compensation structure is heavily weighted toward performance incentives, an excuse to not pay the industry standard for a job. 2. Not being transparent about pay structure or benefits. 3. Having the same job open for a long time or having high turnover for that position. 4. Insisting that candidates share what they are already making to structure their pay off of that. We are open to someone with less experience and these personality traits, as in we invest in our employees rather than we don't want to train or pay to. Oh, and if they don't have standards for their employees, we'll take anyone equals bad job or company is planning to sell soon. Story 42. We don't allow any remote work, despite it being a position done entirely on internet-connected laptops and phones. They want to get paid. You don't need a union because we're your family. Fucking run. But not before starting a union. Story 44. Stating that they don't like to discuss pay during the interview. Story 45. Bait and switch position. Applying for one job, and the conversation begins with discussing a different job. Story 46. On which side? As the interviewer, the biggest red flag is if the candidate doesn't know anything about the company or the role they are applying for. While obviously they aren't going to know the ins and outs of the specific role unless it's an internal candidate, they should at least know about the company and be able to articulate what about the company and role that made them apply in the first place. As the interviewee, mass turnover is a red flag. Walked into a situation where we were owed over $1 million by our vendor. We had around a month to collect before the parent company would shut us down. I had no idea before I started. I was able to get just under $750,000 paid out, but I was still laid off. Story 51. We expect you to come in on short notice or stay late, without additional pay. You need to do this because you love this and not because of the money. Story 52. We have a really high turnover, so we're looking for someone who is looking to put down roots and stay a while. Story 53. An older guy yells, loudly and in a patronizing way, to a worker in a back room while he was interviewing me. I told him, if that's the way you treat your employees, then I don't want to work here. Have a nice day. Story 54. People emailing you from all hours of the day during the hiring process. When you know they're in your time zone, do they work 24/7? Stressing how fast-paced it is, saying it once is fine. When you ask what the training and onboarding will look like, and they make it clear that you're just on your own from day one. Story 55. When all the employees look miserable. Story 56. If they keep asking how often I expect to get paid. Story 57. We're family here.